very last session of a 3-month virtual design festival, and we've got glitches, but it's good to see you.
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Good to see you. I can hear and see you great.
Yay. Okay. So tell us first of all where you are.
Well, I am in what I call the listening chair, which is a physical chair. In fact, you, of all people, would probably know who made this chair. I'm going to show you. Look, you know one of those chairs?
Oh yeah, is it a customized egg chair? No,
it is a customized egg chair, exactly. So inside it, I've got a screen. There. I've got some speakers. I've got a door which likes to close on my head at the moment because the hydraulics aren't working. And then I've got some lights and some speakers. And basically, I sit in here and I'm working on a project that we call Augmented Imogen. And in here, I take questions from fans and they ask me questions and I record it to Augmented Imogen. And then she takes, well, she doesn't at the moment, it's all us, people power, taking that data from the audio into text and then populating Augmented Imogen so that she can answer those questions in future, which is basically she's a fancy bot at the moment. But in future, she's going to grow into all kinds of like creative collaborating with me and basically helping me not have to answer questions twice.
So you're basically training a robot to be you.
Well, better than me, or, you know, not me, but just kind of helping me, part of the team.
And that's only going to be for fan questions, or will the robot take over your musical career as well, do you think?
Well, I mean, if it makes sense, financial sense, why not? No. But I imagine that we will end up, you know, writing together in the future. And I think that Augmented Imogen might even, you know, say you came online and you're feeling a bit down or you want to be energized, perhaps Augmented Imogen, musical person self, could detect what kind of mood you're in and help you balance that by how I would react to your mood if musically, if I could do that 24/7 to all the people who wanted to do that for them. So maybe in future it could be like the ultimate computer music where, you know, let them have their day and create musical characteristics out of the way I write music, and enable it to generate and react for the individual.
Let's go back a step and then we can dive into the AI thing again in a minute. But Imogen, tell us who you are. Tell us who you are and where you are and what you do.
Okay, I'm Imogen Heap. I'm a music maker. I'm usually found somewhere at the intersection between music and technology. I love to write music. I do less of it at the moment. I'm a mother. I'm a producer. I make music for plays, well, one play in particular, the Harry Potter play. And I live between Havering and Hackney. And that's been making music professionally for 25 years.
And we've known each other for a few years now, and we particularly became friends over your gloves project.
Yes.
We're developing a way of controlling your music software and your instruments through haptic or gesture technology. Tell us a little bit about that. And has that moved on since we last spoke to you about it?
Yes. So that's right. They're called the Memu gloves now. And we have started to commercially sell them, which is quite exciting. So there's about, I don't know, a couple of hundred glovers in the world, and they're making music gesturally or adding to their existing setups, essentially trying to reach into the software to enable you to be more human, less, you know, controller yourself, the technology becoming you. So you can identify what kind of postures and movements you would like to tell your computer what to do. So that could be just as simple as raising the volume when you raise your hand, or it could be twisting a sound, making it kind of filter sweep, or catching something, panning it left and right, all kinds of things. And it really ticks the boxes for those kind of synth sounds that don't have a physical body. You essentially physicalize the virtual with your own body, kind of.
So music and technology and also design is part of what you do. How did you first have the idea to bring all these different things together? Like most musicians, they write music and they perform music and that's it. And they get someone else to do the show or the promo video and things like that. You kind of do all of it or get involved in all of it.
Yeah, I like to get my fingers stuck into most things. But I do over the years, definitely have learnt how to delegate, and also just go, "Do you know what? I really need to make music." And so I'm really lucky to have over the years found some amazing people who've carried on the projects, and I've worked with amazing scientists and technologists and you know, soft tech designers, sensor designers, just incredible people that have pulled together, and especially in the Mimu team, and now developing this AI project with Justin and Catty, and also the Creative Passport, a digital identity for music makers, which is also something else kind of connected to music. So I think really it just comes out of frustration. It's just I want to be able to do something simpler in either the creative flow or in business flow, and it's just about realizing what that is, which sometimes can take a few years to actually get it down to the point of what actually it is, because it's not always what you think it is, and building that bit, that piece. And sometimes it means a lot of other things to connect to that piece have to be built. So with the Mimu gloves, we've developed this incredible hardware that you can really rely on. It's super fast, it's really comfortable, it's beautiful. It is expensive to build at the moment. Um, and you can use any MIDI receiving device or OSC device. You can paint pictures with it. You can, however clever you are with your coding. But we've developed this specific software called Glover, which makes it really easy for you to kind of access all of that great gear that you have inside your laptop to make those sounds on the fly and not be tethered to your laptop should you not want to be.
And tell us about the Creative Passport project, which you mentioned just now.
So the Creative Passport is a kind of frustration point really with the business. Just feeling time and time again like I'm multiple inputting things for others' gain and less for myself. Typing in a biography for a certain service, or you know, trying to update information about albums, or the correct spelling of my name, or perhaps of the correct lyrics for a song. There's no central place that I can control that spreads that information out on the internet. You have to individually go to different sites and correct them, or even with a song, around the publishing perhaps, or with around performance information attached to that song. There's nowhere for you to go in and just correct it. So we're developing the core piece that's missing for the music maker, which is the identification bit, so that you can link yourself with your works, and that in turn that can help kind of free the music industry to work directly with us, and for services to be able to develop for us, as opposed to the other way around where we kind of have to crowbar into something. There's been a lot of innovation around um, recorded music. How do you listen to that? How do you consume that day to day, second to second? And that has helped the record industry, but it hasn't necessarily helped the individual music maker. There's very small pennies that come into us at the end of the day, and it's and in a way, the more people that listen to it online and the more songs that go up in it, the less money that we get. So it's not really working out. So by having the Creative Passport, it essentially opens up all kinds of possibilities for new services to come up and help us develop around our entire business, which could be touring, could be merch, it could be coding, it could be mothering while, I don't know, babysitting while doing some piano lessons, it could be any kind of mixture of things. So essentially it's enabling you to work at your strengths by putting your unique skills, your projects, your songs, connecting all the business that you work with together to each other to stop these multiple inputting, and basically creating a point, a home, a trusted data source that you can share as and when you need it with whoever you need it.
And that's been built using blockchain, is that right?
Well, it was originally conceived out of blockchain, hoping that by way of encouraging the idea that a song would pay itself on an instant of a play, and would pay everyone instantly, kind of the way it used to be. MP3.com did that. You could like upload some music and it would immediately pay everyone the minute somebody listened to that song. But when the record industry got involved, it kind of stuck its oar in and got in the way. So it means now that it has to go through many, many channels in order to ever get back to us, if at all. So yeah, that was the inspiration to have this distributed ledger of information that would be shared across multiple parties. and that you could have access to go in and change that data if you're authorized to do so. Um, but blockchain is a way away from us getting to that point. But it was the inspiration and the realization really that without sorting out the identity bit, we can't do that. So we're developing the identity bit first, so that technologies like distributed ledger technology could be something that we could use to benefit us.
And we should tell everyone what we're going to do with you. You're going to show us a music video in a little bit, and that
Oh
will
yeah,
give you some time to go and get prepared for an exclusive live performance you're doing, which is amazing.
yeah. So we've been, everyone's been just rattled around as a result of COVID, and all been trying to scramble for some sense and what to do in that place. And you've created this awesome festival, and what I've had to do is realize that about 70% of my income's disappeared thanks to Harry Potter, play and live music not being a thing, and not really seeing any hope in sight for the, certainly the next 6 months. So yeah, scrambled around and thought, well, what I can do is go online and improvise. And that's what I wanted to do anyway. So I thought, if I'm there present and I just improvise for a few hours, and those people that come can just pay me a bit of money, it means I don't have to figure out the songs. I don't have to do a set. It's different every night. And it's just very free. And as a result of that, what happened was people then said, "Oh, I really want to hear this song." And I'd be like, "Okay, but I haven't practiced it." So they would pay me £100. And then I would sing that song of mine. And if it was a cover, then I'd need a little bit of notice. But I've done a few covers. I've got one coming up, Kate Bush, Running Up That Hill on Tuesday, as well as Everlong by Foo Fighters. And they each get 500 quid, and they're usually kind of crowdfunded by the fans for me to sing those. And this is helping to kind of go into the development of the Creative Passport. And alongside, of course, I do that with my gloves. So I'm improvising live with the gloves, moving effects around, capturing loops and stuff. And it's just basically piano and vocal augmented with effects thanks to the gloves. And it's really fun. And I interact. I see the kind of chat on YouTube, and I respond and often integrate words that people are saying into my improvised songs. And often some of those ideas are really lovely. They're not all, and some of it's just quite boring, I suppose, for some. But it's to capture that moment of inspiration, to see it, for me to kind of recognise it too. Oh, that's a thing. By having the public watching, and there's not very many people that come and watch, a few hundred, but to be present with others during that, I didn't think it would be possible, but I've discovered that it is very much possible, and it's very enjoyable to have them along for the ride. And sometimes I forget they're there, which is when I get into that kind of precious flow state. And then after the fact, they often go in and they say, "Oh, I really liked that bit at 1 hour 32 when you did that thing in 6/8 or whatever it is." And then the next day, if I get a minute, I come into the studio and I work on it a bit. And then those ideas I push to my app, so the subscribers there can hear work in progress. And one day maybe I'll make some songs out of them.
So these daily live performances, then how are you doing those? And if someone who's listening to this wants to attend one,
Yeah.
how do they do that?
Well, they're actually every Tuesday, and they're at 9 p.m. British Summer Time. And yeah, just go to my YouTube channel. It'll be the thing that's streaming live at 9 o'clock. I also sometimes sit in this chair once a week and have a chat with fans, and they get to chat with me through the app, but also by interacting with Imogen. Any questions that she can't answer gets through the net and talks to me in person. So I do a couple of those things a week. And then I'm starting to do listening parties where I just basically play ideas and demos to anyone who's listening on my Discord channel, which again, you have to be a subscriber. But you're kind of basically trying to make my own little mini ecosystem work outside of not having, what's gone now. And actually, what it's brought me is a lot of joy and a kind of a simpler life, something more manageable and much more rewarding. Actually, just being directly in touch with the fans again. It's something I'd lost touch with for many years because I'd been so much involved in the gloves and the Creative Passport and also motherhood. It was seemingly impossible to find that time. But I feel like I've found a groove again with them, and they're helping me, bring Imogen Heap musician back into focus, which is just a lovely thing.
So in a way, it's helping you. It's helping your creative process and helping your relationship with your fans, you think?
Yeah, because otherwise you're just kind of shouting into space and with nothing to rebound, and it just feels a bit pointless. So, and in a way, that's how I started. Well, it's not how I started. Well, I suppose in the beginning it was, you know, I played on the piano and my friends liked what I was listening to, and that helped me want to carry on. But then with Speak for Yourself, I had a message board. It's called the Babble board, the iBabble board, and I would chat with my fans about ideas on the message board, and sometimes I upload an MP3. You know, that was like 15 or 17 years ago or something. But then as social media got so big and everything was very public, I kind of lost that closeness and that manageable size of fans, and never and just lost contact really. Um, so I found a way to come back and make it smaller and speak to those who really want to hear, you know, not just shouting all the time, making a load of noise on Twitter. And not that I'm shouting, but you know, just adding to the noise, just kind of allowing people to choose to opt in, you know, to listen.
And technology is so involved in what you do, and obviously involved in the art of songwriting as well. But when you were young, before, I mean, you're much younger than me, so I don't want to
Yeah.
scare away. But when you were young and you just had the piano, was there a time when you just composed just you and an instrument, like a classic songwriter, like of days gone by,
Yeah,
or have you
absolutely.
always fed other things into that process?
Well, certainly the piano, you know, that's my main instrument with the voice, and there's a symbiosis there that I've grown up with since very young. The piano's always been a safe place, and I realise now a place of, you know, what I've learned, mindfulness, you know, a kind of place where I get into that flow and I'm very present. And it's the only place, it's the only time I can really manage that, unless I'm with my daughter, which if I'm not thinking about something I have to do, then I'm really in the flow there too with her. And I didn't really realize that that's what it was for me. And kind of, you know, anxiety and depression kind of creep in when that isn't there. And I've realized how important it is to me. And I just never really, I never put a label on the fact that actually it is my way of creating that mindful space that I so needed and I grew up with. I just wasn't aware of what it was and why it's so important to me. So I've found that again, which is very, very, very valuable. And I'm feeling a lot better up here as well for it. Um, so yeah, as a kid, that was all I did. But I always loved, you know, messing around with stuff. Even just a cassette deck to deck kind of tape recorder, tape to tape. Would still love like layering stuff and playing some pots and pans, and then attempting to play a cello line over it or whatever I played, just to try and create some stuff, some noise that sounded nice together. I've always enjoyed that. And from the age of 12, I think you know this, but that's when I started to program musical programming um, on the Atari at my boarding school, because I didn't really get on with many people at my boarding school in the beginning. So I spent a lot of time in this cupboard learning how to use this Atari and this Sibelius software, and then engineering later at 15. But the piano's always been the thread. It's always been the thing I could just sit down and just, you know, be very comfortable.
And how do musical ideas come to you? Is there, do you sit there and like hear it in your head and then play it, or do your fingers lead the way, or is there all kinds of, how does a tune come out? How does a composition
Yeah,
emerge?
you can see it in action on Tuesday. I've never really noticed it before. I've never witnessed it myself from the outside, but I can actually watch it now and go, "Oh yeah, I can see an idea forming." And it's that choice, which is quite nice actually, not to worry about in actually kind of doing a live stream, because what happens normally is you wouldn't put on record if you were improvising for like a few hours. It would just, you'd have to go back and listen to it for 3 hours. So I love that actually, that the audience is part of that process of that together we are like, that's a good idea, you know, and just let it go, like in being mindful, just kind of aware that the moment is there, it's been captured, and just move on. Um, Actually, that's what something that I'm going to play with later on. This is an app called Endless with 3 S's, and it's really about getting into that that flow state of creativity and improvisation, but with others. So you can jam with others, and there's great sounding sounds that Tim Exile, my friend, has developed. So yeah, I'm going to be using that with whoever's online, and then I'm going to play and improvise on the piano, and you will hopefully witness that moment. Maybe I'll create something that will end up being released as a song.
That would be really amazing. And finally, before we let you go to get ready for that, back to the AI project you're working on, how, as a musician, do you view the threat or the assistance that AI can give to musicians? People are talking in the design world, for example, that you might not need architects anymore because the algorithm will just throw up the best possible solution.
Mm.
Is AI your friend or is it your enemy as a musician?
Well, that's why I'm developing this augmented imaging, because I want to find out. I want to have a part in what kinds of questions it throws up day to day. Right now, I feel like it's my friend. You know, I've got it under control. I'm going to be developing a Imogen before anybody else does, and it feels, you know, a comfortable space and an optimistic space. But perhaps in 20 years' time, I might feel entirely different. But at least I like the thought that I can be part of the process and part of that future. What is it for us as creatives? I think one thing that's very important is, how do we identify what is AI and what is human? How can we, you know, in the process of songwriting, capture what is and what isn't, so that the listener can also be fully aware what they're buying into? So that if you might want a film director who might say, I only want AI generated music because it's a science fiction film and blah, blah, blah. And you might decide there's purists. No, we only want human generated music and absolutely no drum machines or anything like we already use in some ways. Some of the tools kind of going into the AI space of generating drum patterns already. So the blurry line is already there. And we're already stepping our toes into it. But I feel that the human brain will always be one step ahead. You know, we're developing this system. We still haven't got to the bottom of consciousness, so I feel like we're a way away from that. And the thing is, there is so much content. There's so much. I don't know if there's enough musicians to generate the content that people need 24/7. So it's not. I don't think it's a bad thing. Perhaps it'll just be certain types of things will be AI generated, and we'll just accept that. Um, and we'll find a space for other creative spaces, musically, at least. I mean, if somebody was to design a building, surely there would be human intervention at some point. It wouldn't just suddenly be developed by a bunch of robots without somebody going, wait a minute, don't we need a door? So I feel like, you know, we'll be able to carve our space out quite easily.
Yeah, if an algorithm built a building for itself, it wouldn't need a door
No.
or toilet. But I suppose maybe your AI assistant might it might be like a child. It might one day do something when you go, "Oh my God, that's so clever of you."
Yeah,
And when your child is able to do something better than you are
yeah.
able to do.
And then hopefully I will learn from that and be better myself.
But why, with the AI project, why did you need to make a physical embodiment of that? Why does there need to be a chair that has a form rather than it just being like a card in your computer or something like that?
Yeah, that's true. No, it's a bit over the top. Essentially, this chair already existed. I wrote a song called "The Listening Chair," and it was composed by having a few hundred people from all around the world sat in this chair, and I asked them the question, "What is the song that still needs to be written?" Hoping that there might be one resounding topic. But as it turned out, each age group, roughly 7 years, kind of was interested in similar things, or kind of answered the question in a certain way that made me want to write the song, The Listening Chair, which you can listen to. Every 7 years of my life is represented by a minute's worth of music. So I have my next year to write, because I'm now 42, and it will be 6 minutes long instead of 5 minutes long. And it always ends with the same words, which will be, who am I now? And all the people that ask that question will be the people in my life. So this time, Scat will be in that question at the end of the song. So this chair was here anyway, and I just thought, in the craziness of life, I come into this chair and I'm focused. I don't have to worry about things. The lighting's quite nice, but I'm not actually using the listening chair tablet right now, so it's a bit funny. And you're wobbling around because you're on my knee. I'm very sorry. But we had a little hiccup today trying to get that one working. So yeah, and it has speakers, and it's just comfortable. You know, if I'm going to sit in here for hours at a time trying to, uh, you know, grow this AI, then I want to be comfortable and I want to look good-ish.
Well, it's been so brilliant speaking to you again. Shame we're not together in the same space. If you could just tell us, we're now going to play a music video of yours called First Train Home, I think.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about that.
So, First Train Home is a song that I wrote ages ago about a party that kind of went wrong and desperately wanted to go home. But again, just through not being able to do live concerts, the Roundhouse, sorry, not the Roundhouse, I live in the Roundhouse, the Royal Albert Hall, we're doing a series called the Royal Albert Home. And I love the Royal Albert Hall. It's one of my favourite venues and they've just been so kind to me over the years. So I thought I'll do that for them. And I just did 5 songs, and one of them, because I couldn't get here and do like a fully produced thing, so I just decided to do what I could when I could. So this one was done in my kitchen at about kind of 10 o'clock when Scout had gone to sleep till about 3 o'clock in the morning, just singing over and over, and getting like anything I could find in the kitchen to make it sound good, and then I pieced it together later in the studio.
Fantastic. And then after that, about half an hour from now, you're going to be ready to do your live performance.
Yeah.
And our viewers just have to wait a bit, and then they'll be able to see that, and they'll be able to see how you create music.
Yeah, so I have my gloves on. I will be fiddling around with this thing called Endless on an app for a bit, and then I'll just go into improvisation. I've never done that before, but I thought, do something different. So yeah, tune in, should be fun. Maybe there'll be a seed of an idea that'll end up in a song. Who knows?
And thank you so much for being part of Virtual Design Festival, and in fact for closing the entire festival. We've been going for 3 months now, and I can't think of a better way of rounding it all off with a more fantastic person than you, Imogen. Thank you so much.
Marcus. So kind. Thank you, and for all your support over the years with the gloves. Just amazing. Yeah.
And I'll be in touch. We're going on holiday for a couple of weeks, but I'll be in touch. I'll come up and see you.
Yeah, that'd be so nice. All right. See you in a bit. Bye.
Thank you very much.
Bye.
Bye.
Clap. Right, I'm going to sing you a song. I've tried to sing this quite a few times and have failed. So hopefully this is the last time, because it's a bit annoying. Right, over here we have some tuned wine glasses. And over here we have filter drums. So basically I'm going to be singing this song. Last night I recorded lots of these sounds, which I've put in here. So I'm now singing along to the kitchen, and I'm going to be introducing the sounds as I go. So yeah, as I go. This is low battery. Oh no, not that. A trivet, which is I think where you put hot pans on. So I thought that was quite appropriate. Right, let's try and do it before the battery runs out, before the fridge starts humming. Okay, let's do this. And then I do the other one. And then I hit the drums. Bodies disengage, our mouths are fleshing over. As hiss and echo again, irises retreating to ovals of wine. The urge to feel your face in blood rushing to paint my handprint. A frisbee one by one, your vinyl on laminate. Desperate for some kind of contact. First trainer home, I've got to get on it. First trainer home, I've got to get on it. First trainer home, I've got to get on it. Got to catch the first trainer home, I've got to get on it. First trainer home, I've got to get on it. First trainer home, I've got to get on it. First trainer home. Da da day, day da day, da da day, day da day. Temporal dead zone where clocks are barely breathing, breathing, breathing. Yeah, yet no one cares to notice. For all the yamming on, I climb up to hold it together. I want to play doorway phones in the hideaway. I want to get on with getting on with things. I want to run in fields, paint the kitchen, love someone. I can't do any of that here, can I? First train home, I've got to get on it. First train home, I've got to get on it. First train home, I've got to get on it. First train home. So I've had one too many. So I'm not that much fun to be with. What matters to you doesn't matter to me. What matters to me doesn't matter to you. What matters to you doesn't matter to them. What matters to them, it doesn't change anything. First train home. First train, got to get her out now. Yes, I think that's the one. I've been meaning to turn that off the whole way through. Finally.